Louisiana beer reviews. Old Crafty Hen Oak Aged Blend Ale. Brewed in England. 6.5% alcohol. I bought this at Stein's Deli. It was $4.59 for the bottle. So not super cheap. 500 milliliter, 1 pint, 0.9 ounces. 16.9 ounces. Crafted by the master brewer of Old Speckleden. This superior fine ale combines a distinctive malty taste, okay, let's see about that, with a satisfying smooth raisin finish, okay. Brewed with a blend of the famous Old 5X. That means it's a percentage of the beer is brewed with this other Old Speckleden that's been aged for 5 years. I've seen it and I've had Old Crafty Hen before, but it didn't tout oak aged blend ale. Now it may have been given the ale treatment, the oak treatment, but they weren't like making a point of mentioning this. So I don't know if that's because we're knee deep in the hoopla of the barrel aged phenomena right now. Not a phenomena, but you know, the barrel aged thing, or if this is something a little different. I looked on their website, I didn't see anything to indicate that, but it wasn't showing this label. It was just showing the Old Crafty Hen, and it had something like a satisfying ale or something like that on it. If you look on the website, you'll see, but it wasn't this label. Moreland Brewing was established in 1711, over 300 years ago. It has been acquired by Greene-King, which is a huge British brewing company, hotelier, and tavern owner. Okay, they have their own taverns. And there used to be a situation like that in America where they had brewery-specific bars. Like they had Michelob bars all around the country that were only sold Michelob. But then with Prohibition, we have all these regulations that were put in place not to protect the consumer, of course, but they were put in place to protect special interests like distributors and things like that. So that we have our highly regulated system. Remember, not to protect you, but to protect special interests who are in close connection with various levels of government, central, state, and local. Cream colored, and the head is pretty thick cream colored, and it's this caramel or a bronze, copper appearance, and some nice bubble streams in this etched tasting glass. Here about 10 a.m. Would have been a little earlier, but they decided to run power equipment. You know, can't have a quiet morning. Luckily, they didn't run it for too long. I'm not picking up any kind of oak or barrel aged. In fact, I'm only picking up the creamy caramel, slightly to moderately fruity Greene-King. They have sort of like a house style if you had a lot of their beers. Along the lines of Abbott Ale and Old Speckleden and Old Golden Hen. Old Speckled Hen came from a slang they were using for an old speed up, spotted up automobile, which in 1979 they called Old Speckleden, Old Speckled One. And when the British tend to run their words together, so it sounded like they were saying Old Speckled Hen. And so this line of beer came from that garbled speech. So top of the morning to you. Yeah, it definitely has that raisin. Yeah, not as raisiny as the Paulana or Salvatore, but that's 7.9. This is 6.5. But it does have, and that's a lager, and this is an ale, but it has that character that's not necessarily opposed, you know, or in opposition to each other. The mouth feels creamy. You do pick up a little oak in the background, for sure. The fruit, dates, figs, the raisin, the sweet bread, even almost notice almost a spiced bread, toast, Melba toast, possibly. Maybe sesame seed in the background or in the undertaste. The bitterness is there. It's fairly hoppy, so is it like Stone IPA hoppy? No. Or Greene-King, or Green Flash Palate Wrecker hoppy? No, but it is there, and there's a bitterness to balance out this, beer. This beer is fairly round. The mouthfeel is medium, high medium, almost into the heavy. Wow, the bitterness is really noticeable. It's like increasing. It's a semi-dry finish, and it's fairly refreshing, and it's fairly easy drinking, but it is a contemplative beer. This is no slung together item. You're going to pay $4.59 for the 16.9 ounce bottle, but you're going to be quite satisfied, I think. So I would have to give it, I'm starting at A, right? Like A, most excellent, is the lowest I could feel comfortable with. I'm edging toward A+, frankly. Yeah, I think I have to go with an A+. This really is an exquisite beer. There's some kind of controversy or controversy, if I'm going to talk about England, about Greene-King. I don't know, there's some negative, there's a faction that's negative towards Greene-King. I don't know, it's probably just because they're big or something, but I've had the Twisted Thistle, I've had the Greene-King, I've had the King's English. I've had a whole bunch of beers from this company, and I've never had one that wasn't just fantastic. So this is a new label, like I said. I think it's a little different. So I would highly, highly recommend Old Crafty Hen Oak Age Blend. Believe me, okay? So les bon temps roulé, let the good times roll. And y'all come, and I'm going to end this review by saying y'all come on down to New Orleans.